Wondering what the F has happened to your body and your life? You're in the right place, my friend. Welcome to season 3 of Transforming 45, where we dive into the incredible stories of how brilliant humans are navigating the midlife squeeze with courage, passion, and a healthy dose of humor. Don't miss out on any of our heart-led episodes. Hit the subscribe button, leave a 5-star review, and if you're inspired, share an episode you love with a friend. It means more to me than I can express that you're choosing to spend time here and sharing our message of midlife revolution. So let's get into it. And just like that, it is time to record One Word 2025. I'm going to start this episode by going back to 2024 because it is necessary for where I'm going for 2025. And for those of you who are watching, you'll notice I have a very different background, and this is the first episode being recorded in Transforming 45's new home, in my new home, which is also a piece of this story. So this morning, I went back and re-listened to One Word 2024, and I just thought, man, that woman had no idea what this year was actually going to hold. And so I take you back to late December 2023, and a group of friends, we went into the woods, and I tell this story in One Word 2024. And we had a little intention setting ritual for our intention for 2024. And my word was liberation. And that was my intention, was to liberate myself from everything that I felt like had been holding me back. And Ken, my husband, my partner, his word was explosion. And I remember looking at him as he said that word and he put his piece of paper into the fire. I thought, okay. I looked at him and I was like, explosion? Really? And he said, well, I think it's time to really shake things up. Well, let me tell you, the universe heard us. And the universe went all in on liberation and doing a massive shakeup. Because as I sit here recording this in my new studio, there is very little about our lives that is the same as it was this time last year. A real shakeup is exactly what happened over the course of 2024. And it started in April when we put our beloved Kinesis Lake cottage home up for sale. There are lots of reasons that we needed to do that, and it was a need. It was not a want. And it is a loss that I continue to grieve because that place was not just a place, it was a family member for us. And making that decision was really challenging, and we didn't have any other choice. Being an entrepreneur means having a very different income stream than when I was an educator. And we had 2 kids who were headed to university in the fall. And so this was a choice that was necessary, that we needed to make. And so that began our great real estate adventure of 2024. So that went on the market. And as fate would have it, real estate conditions really changed over the course of this year. And so what is a lakeside property that would have sold really quickly actually took a number of months. And so by the time we got to June and it still hadn't sold and we were looking ahead to what we needed to do, we were like, well, what's the next move? And it was to put our home where we were living before for sale as well. And we thought, well, we'll see which one goes first. In the end, the cottage did end up selling. But once we had started the process of putting our house on the market, there was this sort of momentum that started to pick up of, no, we're not going to take it off the market. This actually is the right decision for us. It is time to sell this house. We had lived there for 17 years. It had been where we raised our young family. And had you asked me in January of 2024 if that was going to be in our bingo card, I would have said absolutely not. And yet, once we made the decision, it was exactly the right thing. And then we started looking for a new home that we would move our family to. And we just couldn't find something that felt right. And so I started thinking about, well, where have we always wanted to live? And the answer was not the town that we were living in. And so I started looking at real estate in London, Ontario, which is where we live now. And that awakened an old dream of mine, a very old dream when I was a little girl. I always wanted to live here. I had family that we used to come and visit that I really enjoyed. I used to sing here at a conference in the spring every year. And then the camp that I worked at was only an hour away from London. And so we had this community of humans who have been with us since the beginning. So for me, it felt like coming home. And there was a particular neighborhood that I had always wanted to live in. Old, unique homes, big old trees, and it just always felt like home to me. And so we started looking, and I wrote down a list of everything I wanted in a new home. And 7 days later, that house was on the market. When I was making that list, I had even taken a little screenshot of what I thought the exterior of the house might look like. And that exterior with the list of everything I wanted was on the market. And so we booked an appointment to come and see it 2 weeks out because we were coming to pick our boys up from camp. And 7 days after we made that appointment, another offer came in. And we had to make a decision in that moment to put in an offer on a house that we hadn't seen or let it go. And we made the decision to take a big leap. And we put an offer in on a house that we hadn't seen. And we were successful. And we bought a house. And the following weekend, we came to see it. And it was definitely meant for us. This was absolutely the perfect place. And so we were able to relax a little bit into that. And in the meantime, our house, which we now needed to sell because we had purchased a new house, was not moving for the first time. Houses in the neighborhood that we lived in were never on the market for longer than a few weeks. And so we kept finding ourselves in these tight spots that felt very squeezy. And amongst all of the real estate that was happening in our worlds, my youngest child graduated from high school, and both of my children were headed to university in September. So we became instant empty nesters. So there's all of these massive changes in our real estate world, in our family world. And then woven through all of that was the fact that my dad, who was in his 10th year, 11th year of managing Parkinson's, had moved to Barrie to be closer to us because he realized that he needed more support. And in the move, we realized just how much support he needed. And as that story started to unfold, it became more and more evident that he was really, really miserable, that the Parkinson's symptoms were impacting his quality of life to a point where he no longer wanted to be here, which I could fully understand and support him in making a decision, because in Canada, we have medical assistance in death legislation. And so when you get to a point in a terminal disease that is causing great impact to your quality of life, you can choose to say, okay, this life has given me everything that it's going to give me, and I want to make this choice to write this last chapter of my life in the way that I want it to be. And so through all of the other transitions, I was walking with my dad along the Maid Road, and he chose October 21st as his last day. And the Maid process in Canada, I am so deeply grateful for. It is well supported. It is incredibly well researched. The doctors who provide that care are careful and thoughtful and thorough. And all of the supports that are around it are what are missing in the rest of our system. The irony of the fact that we get the best care in the last chapter is something. There are lessons for every aspect of our systems to learn from. The way the MAID system operates is human-centered. It is kind and compassionate and thoughtful. And my greatest hope is that all the rest of our systems can learn from this system that supports people to make their transition to what's next. And so after that, moving became more of a reality, and our house had sold just a week after that. And then the next couple of months were all about packing and moving and closing, real estate closing. And so now I find myself here, and we are through Christmas, and I have some time to think and reflect on the liberation and the explosion that certainly happened in our lives in 2024. There were lots of times throughout the year that I was not grateful for our choice of words. It was remarkably stressful to be managing all of those things at the same time. One other aspect to the story is that early in our decision-making process, I had asked the universe, like, can we just make everything happen all at the same time? And that's exactly what happened. Everything did happen at all at the same time. And there was a great lesson in that for me. And that was to really think through what you are asking for, because I had no idea how much was going to change all at the same time and how stressful that would feel. And so now, as I'm sitting looking out my window in this neighborhood of my dreams, I can now look back and reflect and the lessons that I learned along the way. And one of the things that's important for me to remember is that it is okay to be scared. It is okay to question your choices. It's okay. All of it is okay. All of the emotions. As I was listening back to my one word for 2024, I was laughing a little bit at my surety. Because the biggest lesson I took from this year is that we really have no idea. We can absolutely set an intention, and I see how that intention was the energy force that pushed the domino effect of what happened. And I truly had no idea what was ahead of me. And so more than anything, this year, going into 2025, I'm going into it with less of a sense of, well, this is what's going to happen this year, and really more of a sense of what will unfold now, and sitting in a sense of just wonder, because all of the stress that I imposed on myself did not help in my situation at all at any point. And it is this sitting in expectation and thinking that I have a plan and I'm going to execute this plan and this is exactly what's going to happen. It's where those things collide that creates the stress, because we don't really know. We really don't. We don't know what this grand story holds for us. And so my word for 2025 is ease. More than anything, I want ease and peace in my life. As I look back at my word of the year over the last sort of 5 years, it's been things like trust, whole, freedom, liberation, things that require big transformation, big shifts, big evolution, so lots of energy. And I feel like I've been in this state of fight for 5 years or more. And now it is time for a little bit of ease, because a body can only be in that state for so long before it starts to break down. And so to start this year, I'm going to be starting very slowly by giving myself the opportunity to rest. It has been 6 months of constant transition, and I am exhausted. I am so tired. And the beauty of that is, and the privilege that I hold, is that I do have the ability to give myself a little bit of chance to breathe and to rest and to let my nervous system come back to a point that is calm, where I don't feel like I am in fight or flight constantly, to be able to move forward into what collectively, on a global level, quite likely is going to be a year, again, of we have no idea what's going to happen. And so having ease in my own world is what will allow me to engage in the collective. So, what is your word for 2025? Really think about that intention and what you really want it to create in your life. Because when we set that domino in motion, we have no idea what's coming next. So really think about it. What is it in your own world, in your own space, in your own heart? What is it that you want for 2025? Try to disconnect from the collective, because that is always going to be there. And we need to be in places where we can care for ourselves before we engage in what's happening on that collective level. So 2025, I'm calling in ease, a little gift to myself after years of struggle and change and transformation. Now I know I don't really know what's going to happen next, and that's okay. But I do hope it comes in a way that feels good, that is full of ease and peace and grace. So I wish you all of the best energy towards whatever your word is for this year, and I would love to hear what it is. So in the comments, let me know what your word is. You can also send in a voice message, which I love. I love receiving those from people, and let me know what your word is. And as we head into January, I'm so excited about the episodes of Transforming 2025. Oh, geez. Okay, let's wrap this up for a minute. Roll that back. On Transforming 45 in 2025, I'm also going to send some ease that way as well. But I am really excited about the episodes and the guests that I have for you who are bringing some incredible wisdom. So as always, on Thursdays, check your feed, take a listen. I know that there is wisdom in each guest, and that there's something for you that will help you start this new year in a way that feels the way you need it to, or the way you want it to. So Happy New Year to all of the incredible listeners, to all of this community. I'm so grateful that you are here, and here is to another year of adventure. Thank you for being part of the Transforming 45 community. Your support means the world to us. Stay tuned for more juicy episodes, and remember to keep showing up to your life with the love and magic you deserve. Until next time.